Hello, and good morning, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Uncle Lou Show. We're going to get to the Orange Bowl in just a second, but wanted to remind everybody, tomorrow starts the early signing day period. Of course, you can sign for 3 days this year now in December, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A lot of big-name recruits signing tomorrow with all the big schools. So Uncle Lou will be live streaming tomorrow morning. Probably going to start early. I was planning on starting around 12. Somebody told me Jamari Sawyer might be committing around 10. Anyway, whenever the commitments start tomorrow, Uncle Lou will be live streaming for you. I've got it all set up out here. I'll be able to show you whatever commitments are televised. I'll be able to show you whatever commitments are on Facebook. You know, some of these team pages on Facebook will have a reporter live streaming on Facebook, the commitment ceremony or whatever it is. Anything I can find on Facebook or on TV or whatever, I will be streaming for you right here on LouTube tomorrow. So it'll probably be a long stream. So we'll just see how it goes, how the day how the day breaks up in terms of what time some of these recruits are committing and things like that. But big day tomorrow for a lot of teams, so be sure and tune in tomorrow morning, live stream with Uncle Lou. Now let's get to the Orange Bowl video. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube today. Yeah, thanks for watching. Orange Bowl today. The Orange Bowl. Big bowl game. Who we got in this one this year? Wisconsin and Miami. Badgers and Hurricanes. Well, it's basically a home game for Miami, ain't it? More on that later. That's good news if you're a Miami fan. But anyway, Wisconsin out of the Big Ten taking on Miami out of the ACC. Now, these are two teams who were both one win away from the college football playoff this year. Both these teams lost in their conference championship game. Wisconsin, of course, got drubbed by Ohio State. Miami took a beating from Clemson. Clemson, of course, ACC champs, got into the college football playoff. Ohio State, on the other hand, you did not. Buck Nuts didn't get in. Shouldn't have took that whooping to Iowa. You give up 55 points to Iowa, you're just not getting into playoffs. It's that simple. No way around it. Congratulations for winning the conference. And congratulations. But look at it this way. Look, listen. At least Ohio State will not get shut out in the playoffs this year, right? Would you lose 31-0 when you backed your way into the playoffs last year? At least you don't have to go through the embarrassment of crapping the bed in front of God and everybody else in the semifinals of the playoffs this year, like you did last year. Anyway, I'm getting off subject here. Wisconsin and Miami both one win away from the playoff, lost conference championship game. So here they are in the Orange Bowl. Wisconsin's sitting at what is Wisconsin? 12-1, something like that. Yeah, undefeated in the regular season. 12-0, lost. So 12-1. Miami, unexplainable loss to something called Pittsburgh on Thanksgiving weekend, and then the ACC loss, so they're, what, 11-2? No, they're 10-2, actually, because they skipped a game because of that hurricane. So they're 10-2. So I think this will be a good game, and Wisconsin is actually favored to win this game. They're about a touchdown favorite, depending on where you look, 6.5. 7 points, somewhere in that range there. And I understand that. Miami has been very underwhelming at times this year. Miami is probably the highest ranked team that just seemed to have struggle win after struggle win after struggle win all year long. I mean, fourth quarter comebacks against juggernauts like Georgia Tech and North Carolina. I mean, just terrible teams. Miami looked really, really bad at times. But, like I said during the season, they kept finding ways to win games at the end, even if they were miracle, lucky, whatever you want to call it. They found a way to keep winning. They did let the one get away at Pittsburgh and then got just completely mauled in the ACC championship game, which I think most people saw coming. Wisconsin, on the other hand, fairly dominant all year long, but a pretty easy schedule. Their out-of-conference schedule was a complete joke, which is why a lot of people weren't buying into Wisconsin throughout the year, even when they were undefeated. And they were beating teams fairly easily. 10, 14, 20-point wins along the way for Wisconsin until they ran into Ohio State and just got absolutely drubbed. Both these teams have great defenses. Both teams have questionable offenses. Defense sort of carried both of these teams all year long. This will probably be a pretty low-scoring game, I would imagine. Like I said, Wisconsin is a 6.5-point favorite, and I sort of get it. They seemed a little more dominant during the season than Miami did. X factor in this game, though, for me, this game, like I mentioned, in Miami, basically a home game for the Hurricanes. And if you look at Miami this year, Miami basically had 3 big games, right? They had the Notre Dame game, the Virginia Tech game, and, of course, the ACC championship game. Not very many people gave Miami a chance to win that Virginia Tech game. That was their first big game of the year. It was at home for Miami, and Miami came out and absolutely dominated in that game. It wasn't close. It was never, the outcome was never in question. At that point in the season, that was by far the best game Miami had played and the best they had looked. And at that point, they finally started to get some respect in the polls. Even though they were undefeated at that time, they were lagging behind some one-loss teams and things like that. But they went ahead and took care of business against Virginia Tech, started getting a little bit of respect from some of the media and things like that, even from Uncle Lou, who had been pretty low on Miami up to that point. Then they turn around, was it the following week or 2 weeks later, and play Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame at the time was a one-loss team. They were hot, top 4 team, I believe, at the time, top 4 or 5 team at the time. Their only loss, a 1-point home loss to UGA, who at the time was undefeated, and I believe ranked number 1 when this game was played, the Miami-Notre Dame game. But Miami also got Notre Dame at home, came out and completely embarrassed Notre Dame. I mean, made Notre Dame look absolutely terrible. In that game. Miami just blew them out of the stadium, ran them off the field, skull, drug, I mean, whatever analogy or whatever you want to use, Miami absolutely annihilated Notre Dame. And that's when people really started to sit back, okay, maybe Miami's for real. Maybe they're starting to get it together at the right time. Yeah, they struggled to some wins against some bad teams in the first half of the season, but they had the hurricane situation, messed up some practices, messed up their routine, that kind of thing. Maybe they're finally starting to get it together. Of course, then the ACC championship game comes around, which was not in Miami, and the Hurricanes got absolutely humiliated against the Gators, against Clemson. But this game's in Miami. I understand Wisconsin's favored, and I understand why. I don't even necessarily think Wisconsin shouldn't be favored. However, I'm picking an upset here, and I'm picking Miami to win this game. I'm picking Miami to win the Orange Bowl. I think both these teams are going to come out ready to play, even though they're not in the college football playoff. Miami has been sort of a doormat in the SEC, let's just be real about it, for the last 10 or 12 years. I mean, last year was the first year Miami even won a bowl game in a decade. Okay, so to have a year like they had this year, even though it ended in disappointment for Miami, I still feel like Miami exceeded expectations this year. If you look at preseason rankings, you go back and look at some of these off-season predictions that were made for the ACC, most people had either Florida State or Clemson winning the ACC. A few people listed Miami as a possible dark horse candidate, but nobody seriously expected Miami to win the ACC this year. So the fact that they didn't shouldn't really be that big of a surprise, except for the fact that they were, undefeated 10, 11 weeks into the season before they took that loss to Pittsburgh. So, it ended, bad for Miami in the ACC game. But overall, I think Miami and their fans, the team, the staff, all those kinds of things, I think now that they're sort of a few weeks removed from that ACC championship game, they can look back at sort of the way everything went and consider this a successful season. So I think they'll definitely be motivated and ready to play in this game. I don't think they're going to come out, lackadaisical or mad that they're not in the college football playoff or anything like that. And I'm not too sure Wisconsin's gonna be like that either. I think Wisconsin will be ready to play this game too. But because this game's at Miami, and because of the way I've seen them play this year at home in big games, Notre Dame and Virginia Tech in particular, I'm picking Miami to pull the upset in this game. Now, yeah, they have Mark Richt, and he's known to choke a big game away from time to time. But he did have a pretty good bowl record at UGA. Won a couple of Sugar Bowls. So he's won some big games, Mark Richt has. And I think Miami comes out and gets the win in the Orange Bowl this year over Wisconsin. Like I said, this is going to be a defensive game, I think. Neither team really going to blow you away offensively. if Wisconsin falls behind in this game, it's over. I'm just not a believer in their quarterback at all. I don't think Miami's quarterback is elite or you know, a superstar or anything like that. But I trust Miami's quarterback situation more than I do Wisconsin's. But I don't think Miami's going to fall behind in this game. If they do, it won't be by 2 or 3 touchdowns. If anybody falls behind big in this game, I think it'll be Wisconsin. And they're just not built to come back. They're just not. They like to ground and pound, play good defense, keep the other team off the field. And I think they'll be successful with that, you know, for a good part of this game. I just think Miami, with it being basically a home game for them, is going to find enough offense to win this game. I'll make a prediction here and say Miami wins this game somewhere in the 24-20 type range. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Two good defenses. So anyway, there you have it. The Orange Bowl, Uncle Lou's official Orange Bowl prediction, 24-20. That's pretty much what I think is going to happen in this game. I'm not sure if I really made exact score predictions on a lot of these other bowl games, but I feel pretty comfortable in this one. Unless something changes, like some sort of injury situation or something like that, I really feel like Miami's going to win this game. Opportunity for you to make some money too, because they are the underdog at 6.5, so you can get good odds if you want to pick them to win straight up. But I would definitely take them with the 6.5 points if you're looking to gamble on some bowl games this year. So there you have it. Congratulations, Wisconsin and Miami. You both had pretty good years. Both had great years, really. Each of you one win away from the college football playoff, so hard to knock that. So congrats to Wisconsin and Miami. Congrats to the Badger fans, although I don't see too many of those around ever. And congrats to the Miami Hurricanes fans. There are some Hurricanes fans that watch Uncle Lou. I see them in the comment section from time to time. So congrats to y'all on a great season. And to top it off, look, listen. How could things get any better for Miami than having Uncle Lou pick you to win the Orange Bowl? Congratulations, salute, enjoy the Orange Bowl. Home game for Miami. Should be a sellout, even though they don't sell out most of their home games, even in the regular season. But that's, you know, whatever. That is what it is. They bandwagon fans, they'll jump back on now because Miami's had a couple of good years. But I think give me Miami to win the Orange Bowl over the Wisconsin Badgers 24-20. Have a great day.